So before I start, I'm actually going to need your help with my monologue. I want to set the stage. I'm going to go behind this curtain, and I'm going to make an entrance again. And I'm coming into a press conference, okay? So feel free to take out your phones, snap pictures, as if you're paparazzi. Give me lots of applause so that I can calm you down. And take advantage of this moment because you don't often get the opportunity to actually applaud undocumented people on stage. All right? Are you ready? Yeah. All right, I want to see your phones, so take them out. I'll be back in a second. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. It's really good to be here today on June 15th, 2032, making the announcement that I've been dreaming of for decades. But I must be honest, I never really thought that we'd make it. When I look at what we've had to overcome, I mean, just to think back on those crazy, scary years of the Trump presidency, Tucker Carlson's constant media messages that inspired violence against immigrants and people of color, and of course, the years and years of empty promises from Democrats and politicians. But it was during that decade of disintegrating democracy that I actually learned how much I really, really wanted this opportunity. As many of you know, I've grown up here in Denver and I've considered Colorado my home my entire life. I was brought here when I was 8 months old. Long enough to see 7 different names on the Broncos Stadium. I've negotiated 21 years of living without documentation status and then receiving DACA and having to renew it over 10 times, and then tragically losing my status again and almost getting deported. But now, after years of fear and struggle, challenging my Congress people, writing letters, doing civil disobedience, and taking to the streets with so many of you, my movement family, at the age of 41, in the year 2032, I finally have my citizenship. I, Victor Galvan, am an American citizen. Thank you. But I haven't called this press conference today to announce that I was naturalized, but because after 20 years of waiting, I'm launching my candidacy for Congress. So please join me. Victor for Congress! Victor for Congress! Victor for Congress! Victor for Congress! That was fun. But let's bring it back to 2022. I'm actually 31 years old and I'm not on the ballot. I'm not a citizen. Instead, every 2 years, I have to gather $500 and get on my knees and beg our country to renew my DACA status and not kick me out. It's humiliating. And I'm angry because I was told as a kid growing up here in Colorado, if you work hard, you can be anything you want to be. Dream big. And I worked hard. I dreamed big. What they failed to explain to me is that there's an immigration checkpoint at the gates to FantasyLand. And the more I see how fragile democracy is, how little my humanity counts, and how much mob momentum is built from demonizing me and my family, the more afraid I am. And that's not easy to admit because I'm an immigrant rights leader, and my battle cry is and has always been that I'm undocumented and unafraid. Undocumented and unafraid. Undocumented and unafraid. Undocumented and unafraid. But I do have fear. I'm afraid one day my mother will be deported and that I'll lose the only family that I have left in the United States. I'm afraid that someone will hear her speak Spanish one day at the grocery store and pull a gun out on her. I'm afraid that if I'm deported, I might not be able to handle the transition to an unknown country without my family and my friends. And the truth is that after 16 years of working in the immigrant rights movement and living in this country as a Mexican-American undocumented person, I'm holding so much trauma. 2018 and 2019 were like hell. I was working for the Colorado Immigrant Rights Coalition, trying to support community members who, after decades in this country, with children and grandchildren, were suddenly sent to detention. The phone would just ring off the hook, one terrified person after another seeking help. One man's story still haunts me. He was a father, a good father, here in Colorado. They picked him up at his home under an order of removal. And within 36 hours, before we could really organize a resistance, he had been moved to Texas and then to New Mexico. And in New Mexico, they made him sign a voluntary departure. I saw the paper that he had signed. It was grotesque. It was completely crumpled. There were scribble lines all over it. I don't know what they did to him. But I knew him, and he was not the kind of man who would have left his wife and 4 children without a fight. And looking at that broken signature, I fear that a fight with a few security guards is exactly what they gave him. And one of the hardest things about trying to help undocumented families at that job was that the deportations and the human rights abuses were being done on such a massive level that each individual ceased to matter and bleed into an abyss. And that hurts because each one of those individuals is a real person with real dreams, like me. I mean, look at me. Really, look at me. I'm here. I'm brave. I'm funny. I care. Would you be okay to tear me out of my bed, away from my family, in the middle of the night? Would you believe that I'm scum who doesn't deserve compassion? Am I expendable to you? Just another number on your news feed? There's a saying, if you're not on the table, then you're on the menu. Well, I'm done. I'm done with my community serving as fodder to consume and exploit. I'm done asking for other people to care about me and my community to make change. I can no longer put my hopes and my survival on good-intentioned politicians who have never known what it's like to be me, never known what it's like to plead on the thrones of power just to be seen. Who, even when they say they care, think nothing in allowing immigrants to always be the first compromise on the bill, the first ones crossed out of a bill, so that they can get their real priorities. And I'm done. From now on, my focus is going to be purely to put people like me, who look like me, and who have struggled like me, into positions of power. I cannot tell you how much it meant for Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez in 2018 during the endless deportations to run for office and win. She had nothing in the way of media or money when she took on a 10-term incumbent congressman. She ran her campaign out of the restaurant where she waited tables, a woman whose mother cleaned houses and drove a school bus. But she totally rewrote the menu and won on a platform for Medicare for all. federal job guarantee, a Green New Deal, free public college, a 70% marginal tax rate on incomes above 10 million, criminal justice reform, and abolishing the U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement. A young woman of color from the Bronx playing a rich man's game with all the odds stacked against her. She beat her chest and said, "Yeah, I'm gonna do this." She was no longer willing to wait on others at the tables to make change. She took off that apron and she pulled her chair up to the table. And that inspires me because that's our story. That's my story. You tell me I can't, and I will anyway. I don't care what you think of me or that this system is rigged against us. When you tell me to dream big, I take that to heart because that is what I think America's supposed to be about. And I'm worth it, and I do matter. My name is Victor Galvan Ramirez, and I may not be on the ballot, but I'm no longer on the menu. And you can take pictures, you can cheer, because when my community counts, democracy and human rights count. So join me. Join me. What do we do when our freedom is under attack? Stand up, fight back. What do we do when immigrants are under attack? Stand up, fight back. What do we do when DACA is under attack? Stand up, fight back. 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 Welcome to my table. Wait until you hear what's on the menu.